Well, yesterday, something happened that has not happened in 6 years as we welcome in Matt Melzak, the voice of the Toledo Mud Hens, along with Jim Weber. Of course, you see them every home game right here on BCSN. And yesterday, Matt, the Tigers won. They scored 11 runs in the victory over Chicago. Meanwhile, the Mud Hens put up 20 in St. Paul. The last time both Toledo and Detroit scored 10 or more runs and both won on the same date, way back in 2018. As the Hens, the good news is the losing streak is over as they ran into a buzzsaw in St. Paul. St. Paul had won 11 straight games until the Hens finally got a victory on Sunday. But really, I thought the key to Sunday's victory, you go back to the ninth inning of Saturday's game.
Absolutely. You're down, 8-0 going to that ninth inning, score 7 times. Really see the baseball go places where it was important to score runs. And then that carried right over to the Sunday. The quick turnaround and going to the afternoon game. And the Hens bats just never went to sleep after that Saturday game, which was good to see, at least to come away with a win. And you don't want to be swept. This is a team that's done very well in the 6-game set of not being swept. So let's not get there. But boy, St. Paul just rocking and rolling at the right time to finish off the first half of the season. And they played some great baseball most of the week. And the Hens kind of struggled to keep up until they finally, those bats awoke it Saturday into Sunday.
Andrew Navigato, a grand slam in that ninth inning on Saturday, had more big hits on Sunday, and they're starting to draw some comparisons with him and Kerry Carpenter from a couple years ago.
Yeah, and there's a reason why, because both of them at the time, start of this season, just like Kerry Carpenter when we saw him a few years ago, came out of nowhere, right? Wasn't a top 30 prospect, not somebody that was really heavy on the radar for the Tigers, just a guy that needed to go through a swing change. He did, and all of a sudden he took off and is now a major league player, albeit injured right at the moment, but a guy that can produce at the big league level. And then you turn around and you look at what Andrew Navigato is doing. Another guy, under the radar prospect, a college player that got drafted, slowly been making his way up the minors, and then all of a sudden here he is getting a full-time role all the time with Toledo. And sometimes that jump from AA to AAA can be very difficult. Sometimes guys excel because all of a sudden pitchers get more refined and they hit the strike zone more often, and that can aid a guy who is very good at working off of pitches that are in the zone. And Andrew Navigato is one of those guys, and he finally turned that around of being really good at home and really kind of struggling a bit on the road, which is what we had seen. But boy, at St. Paul, he did it again. And now you look, he's a 300 hitter at the AAA level and certainly has to be putting himself on the radar for a major league call-up.
Second half of the season begins tomorrow night, and the Hens will be home for 9 straight days. Usually they're off on Mondays. They're going to play July 1st, but they start off with 6 in a row against Louisville to begin this 9-game homestand.
Yeah, 9 games in a row, you're right. 6 against Louisville, then 3 against Columbus, the first, second, and third. Then they go to Columbus for the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So it's a condensed amount of baseball, and then all of a sudden they'll get 2 days off before heading off to Omaha. So when you look at this stretch, a great way to get things started in the second half for the Toledo Mud Hens. Just want to get out to that good start. You could do it here at home. You're taking on another team in Louisville that's playing good baseball right now, the Reds AAA. They got some guys right now that are playing very well. It's going to be an interesting week. Remember, Toledo already went there once, Mark, and lost 4 out of 5 games, with one being rained out that couldn't be made up. So it's going to be an interesting series starting on Tuesday. A lot of great promotions, the Boots and Bats
country
weekend,
baseball.
the country weekend coming up. And then, of course, July 3rd, you got the Rock and Blast, the biggest fireworks show that has ever been done at Fifth Third Field with the laser light show included.
In between those two events, Monday, July 1st, a very special day, a very special game, as it'll be Jamie Farr's 90th birthday, and there's a lot of fun stuff planned to celebrate that.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool as well. That's why I tell everybody all the time, head to mudhens.com, the top corner there, you can find the promotional link. Click on that. It'll give you all the promotions this homestand and obviously into July. You can read all about what you're going to see when you come down to the ballpark. A lot of great things. The promo squad down there at the Mud Hens, A+.
As we get the second half of the season going for minor league baseball, the Tigers AA team, the Erie Seawolves, they wrapped up the first half championship this past weekend. So maybe in the second half of the season, we're going to see some of those guys from AA move up to Toledo. We've seen that in the past. There's some rising stars, rising prospects right now in Erie.
Yeah, and you're going to see some of those guys as this season progresses for the Toledo Mud Hens, because injuries are going to happen, trades are going to happen, things are going to change for the roster. So at some point, some of those guys are going to get some AAA baseball time.
7 o'clock start on Tuesday for the Hens in Louisville, and then got a nooner on Wednesday, and then we get back in that 7 o'clock rhythm the rest of the way.
Yep, 7's through Saturday, and then a 4 o'clock on Sunday. So, yeah, it's going to be fun, and then 7's the next week to take you into the third. 9 straight at home, Mark. Let's go.
You can see every one of those games right here on BCSN. Matt Melzak and Jim Weber will be on the call. Matt, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark.